this particular weekend, as we all know, yet had more discussion about him than any QB in college or the NFL. What do you expect Trevor to do here after the season, considering what's going on with his health?
Yeah, Zubin, he threw a bomb is what he did, because he's going to have two bites of the apple, and here's why. When the teams at the top of the draft, presumably the Jets, Jaguars, we know who they are, go through a coaching search, keep a close eye on Dabo Swinney. A lot of people around the NFL feel at some point he wants to take one chance to go to the NFL. Maybe he does. If he does, now all of a sudden, let's say it's Jacksonville, and Jacksonville doesn't have the first pick, and Trevor Lawrence declares, and the team who has the first pick takes Trevor Lawrence. We could be looking at an Eli Manning scenario of a decade ago where Eli Manning is drafted by the then San Diego Chargers and ultimately traded to the New York Giants. And we all know that he'll get a massive deal from Nike or some other, endorsement deal. He's going to be dealing from a position of strength. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens, A, with Dabo Swinney in the coaching search, and B, if Trevor Lawrence isn't happy. Trevor Lawrence is from Georgia. He may not just want to come to the North. He may want to say, hey, a year from now, Atlanta, Jacksonville, Tampa, New Orleans, all these teams over the next 2 years are going to need a quarterback. I'm going to deal from a position of strength.
Real quick, Mike, just forget about Justin Fields then, right? Let's just there's no other quarterbacks in college football at all. You hear me, Mike?
Mike, you with us?
I lost you. What? Yeah.
No, I was saying, do we just forget about Justin Fields? There's no other quarterbacks in college football. It's only Trevor Lawrence, and that's it?
Oh, yeah. No, that's a great question. Here's my only question key about Justin Fields. When he was at the University of Georgia, Kirby Smart chose Jacob Fromm over him. I want to know why. Kirby Smart's a good coach. There is no way you could pick Fromm over Fields. I think Fields is a top 3 pick. I'd be ecstatic if I was Jacksonville, New York Jets, to get him as my quarterback moving forward. His accuracy has improved. He's big, he's strong, he's elusive. I think they're going to dominate the Big Ten. I think it's them and then everybody else. So I think he is in the conversation key. I think there's a gap, though, between Lawrence and Fields.
Okay. I just, me and you, Mike, we have a long history of evaluating quarterbacks. So I just ask that question. That's all.
It's good. It's a good conversation to have for the next few months.
Yes, we'll get ready and answer that in April of 2021. We should mention, for those that aren't familiar, Justin Fields having trouble getting on the field at Georgia outside of packages, but obviously flourishing.
Are you serious right now?
Really?
Hang on a second. Jake Fromm took them to the national championship game as a true freshman. Justin Fields could not do that. Maybe now.
I'm gonna leave it alone.
Freshman.
Hey,
true freshman to the national title.
I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm not gonna.
It can't always be that, Key.
I'm gonna leave it alone.
He just couldn't.
Had a Cam Newton fumble in the red zone. The ball's out. It's Buffalo football. Cam Newton fumbles the football.
It affects me more that I still am jeopardizing this team's success because of my lackluster performance. So I just got to do a better job of protecting it.
Cam taking some accountability. Bill not taking away his starting job just yet. They'll have a little over a week from today, to prepare for the Jets on the long week on Monday Night Football, and that could be truly rock bottom if they can't beat the NFL's only winless team in front of the country next Monday night. But instead of next Monday night, let's focus in on tomorrow, Tuesday, which is the NFL trade deadline, 4 p.m. Eastern, as we welcome in Mike Tannenbaum, ESPN front office insider, joins us on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line, brought to you by Shell V-Powered Nitro Plus Premium Gasoline. I got to tell you here, Mike, you've been wheeling and dealing for years when you were in the NFL as a GM. So the biggest question right now surrounding the Pats after their 4th straight defeat, simply put, what should they do at quarterback if there is a move to be made?
Yeah, I would hold serve if I was the Patriots. I actually thought they moved the ball relatively effectively given the conditions yesterday. And but for that last turnover by Cam Newton, they're either winning the game or tying the game. And to go on the road against a good Buffalo team, as undermanned as they've been with all the recent injuries, all the opt-outs, right now I think he gives them the best chance to win for the rest of the season.
Mike, take the quarterback out of the equation. How should Coach Bill Belichick handle the 4 p.m. trade deadline tomorrow?
Key, there's a lot of rumors about Stephon Gilmore. He put his house on the market. That's the one name maybe to keep an eye on. I think he's been a little up and down this year. His tackling has been inconsistent. And one of the reasons he's been such a great player is Key. He could cover and he could tackle. If they could get a first-round pick, I think they would have to listen because he only has 1 year to go. But beyond that, maybe they can add a receiver. A year ago they went out, they added Mohamed Sanu from the Atlanta Falcons, gave up a second-round pick. That didn't work out. But I would go to the Houston Texans. They got a number of receivers, Kenny Stills, William Fuller, maybe even Brandon Cooks, who they've had before. If they can add a receiver, we got to keep something in mind. There's going to be 7 teams from each conference make the playoffs. They are not out of it. I know that's hard to believe, but we're only halfway through the season, and if Cam Newton can stay healthy, cut down on the turnovers, if the price was right, if I was New England, I would still consider adding a receiver.
So funny, Mike, the best kept secret ever in National Football League is when you put your house on the market during the season. That spells I'm out of here. Good check.
Hey, Mike, I want to ask you a quick question as it relates to Bill Belichick. Do you still have confidence in him as a manager as well, like a guy to make operation decisions as far as surrounding Cam with the right talent?
Yeah, Jay Will, absolutely. And we could go back to his days in Cleveland. Coach Belichick's made some very hard but unpopular decisions. He benched a very popular Bernie Kosar 2 decades ago. He benched Drew Bledsoe when Drew Bledsoe just signed a massive extension with the Patriots. So I think he's beholden to what gives him the best chance to win. Look, they have some holes in the roster. He'd be the first one to tell you that, but you could say that they probably missed on N'Keal Harry, a recent first-round receiver. But beyond that, there's still a good nucleus there. And when you lose good players like Patrick Chung, Marcus Cannon, Dante Hightower, those are 3 really good stars to overcome. And you're putting a new quarterback into the system. So, look, if anybody deserves the benefit of the doubt, it's Coach Belichick. And again, because 7 teams make the playoffs, they're still realistically in the wild card hunt. The division's probably out of reach. But if anybody, again, deserves the benefit of the doubt, it's him.
Mike, when you look at the game yesterday, Pittsburgh and the Ravens, how important has it been for the emergence of Chase Claypool to add to the Steelers' offense?
Yeah, Key, absolutely. He is really stepping up to be a bona fide number 1. So if you have him and Smith-Schuster, you have Ebron at the tight end position who's hard to really defend in the red zone. That is a really good set of receivers. This Deontay Johnson's coming along, but I think Claypool has a really high ceiling because of his size and his speed. I'm not going to say he's DK Metcalf, but his trajectory is really good. And I was listening to you guys earlier. The only other thing I would add to the conversation about Lamar Jackson, he's only started 33 games. So in terms of where he is in his career, I still think we have to give him a grade of incomplete. I thought he fell a little bit short yesterday like a lot of others, but he's still young and he cares and he's smart and he's athletic and he's the reigning MVP. So in my mind, he still checks a lot of boxes, even though I was disappointed how he played yesterday. Someone who's only played in 33 games, they have a long way to go.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you for that. Appreciate that. What do you think about the Packers' offense and that loss to the Vikings?
Yeah, if you look at their pass distribution, it's really interesting. Outside of Davante Adams, no receiver was targeted. They only 1 catch for receivers. A couple tight ends had catches, and Jamal Williams was active in the passing game. So, again, this goes back to what we talked about in April, which was how can you take a team to the championship game with Aaron Rodgers and not address what he needs, which everyone knows is another receiver. So, as I said earlier, I think the Houston Texans are going to be sellers. Kenny Stills, William Fuller, Brandon Cooks, all 3 of those players are explosive. And look, Alan Lazard, he's flashed a little bit. Valdez-Scantling, he's flashed a little bit. Go get one of those receivers. Give yourself a chance to win, because what we saw yesterday was once Minnesota, look, Adams got his production, but nobody else